unshielded, you have to look past political speeches, corporate press releases, and diplomatic theater. Instead, you have to look straight at the physical choke points of global trade, the narrow corridors where the entire world's economic energy is forced to compress. Before we unpack today's file and look at the terrifying fragility of these systems, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who loves high-stakes corporate and global strategy, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a briefing. Right now, as you watch this, a staggering 12% of everything moving across the planet, from the microchips in your pocket to the fuel in your car, is passing through a strip of water barely 3 miles wide. Think about that scale. We live in a globalized economy that prides itself on seamless, frictionless, just-in-time delivery. We expect raw materials to move from one continent, to be processed in another, and arrive at our doorstep the next day. But the physical reality of that network is not a wide-open highway. It is a series of razor-thin geographic bottlenecks. If a single mega container ship loses power, miscalculates a turn, or breaks down in one of these corridors for just 36 hours, the entire machine stops. It triggers a multi-billion-dollar economic cardiac arrest that vibrates through global supply chains for months. This isn't just a matter of shipping delays or late packages. This is the ultimate high-stakes game of geopolitical and spatial leverage. To truly understand the physics of this leverage, you have to look at the sheer concentration of capital at risk. When maritime traffic is forced into a 3-mile corridor, the traditional laws of open market competition vanish. The entities that control, protect, or threaten these narrow waters possess an asymmetrical veto power over global wealth. If an ocean container transit route is disrupted, there is no simple alternative. A captain cannot just take a detour down a side street. Bypassing a major international choke point often means rerouting an entire fleet around an entire continent, adding 10 to 14 days of transit time, burning millions of metric tons of additional fuel, and throwing global manufacturing schedules into absolute chaos. The financial penalty accumulates exponentially by the hour, driving up insurance premiums and ultimately forcing consumer prices to spike worldwide. This brings us to the core structural vulnerability of our modern world. We have built an incredibly sophisticated global infrastructure, and it is easy to look at it and assume it is a massive, unbreakable web. But the reality is far more fragile than anyone cares to admit. The world's economic stability doesn't rely on broad, unpoliced oceans. It hangs by a thread on a few highly vulnerable, incredibly narrow corridors. The corporate actors, logistics conglomerates, and sovereign nations who operate in these lanes aren't playing a game of chance. They are playing a meticulously calculated game of geographic dominance. They understand that in the modern economy, you don't need to control an entire market to dominate it. You only need to control the bottleneck. That concludes today's briefing. If this breakdown gave you a new perspective on the invisible mechanics of global trade and how the economy actually functions behind closed doors, please hit that like button, share this video with your professional network, and subscribe to the channel to stay ahead of the game. Let me know in the comments below which specific global choke point or corporate chess match we should analyze in our next session. Thank you for joining us in the briefing room. See you at the next file.